Is VAR ruining football? When was the last time you properly enjoyed a game of football from start to finish? And when I say enjoy, I mean like in the good old days, when unnecessary long checks didn't happen and the technology wasn't available to ruin great moments for the fans. No thanks, VAR. VAR was meant to reduce human error, not make it worse. However, the nature of it is one that still requires human input to make final decisions. This kind of beats the point of VAR in the first place, and begs the question if it still remains necessary. In this video, we will see how VAR has ruined the beautiful game we all love. Do you remember watching El Clasico or the North London Derby and being ecstatic after a player scores? Seems like a long time, right? In the past, the entire stadium erupted whenever their team scored a goal. They were not stuck between two minds. Now, fans have to wait to see if the goal scored stands. The delay on checking VAR defeats the adrenaline rush after the team breaks the deadlock. You fear a simple VAR check or mistake can ruin the moment. But I guess we can be okay if it cancels a goal worth cancelling. But when it cancels a legitimate goal, then fans have a reason to be upset. Ask a Liverpool fan how it felt in their game against Tottenham. This is just one of the ways VAR is ruining football. The use of VAR in the Premier League was something that was bound to happen eventually. You see, over the years there have been complaints about referees' mistakes in games. Fans had hoped the introduction of this technology was going to help catch these mistakes. However, they were not ready for the downsides. VAR has been a bit more complicated than the goal line technology. It doesn't just check goals, it also looks at other incidents in the game like a penalty call, a red card, or a case of mistaken identity. VAR was only supposed to step in when there was a clear and obvious mistake, but this was only in theory as things could get tricky on the field. Let me give you an example. The last game between Arsenal and Newcastle stirred so many controversies. The referee did not see anything wrong with the goal. However, VAR check revealed a possible out-of-ball play, offside and a foul. You can see how simple decisions can become complicated. In the end, the referee had the final say and the goal was given. But to be fair to the ref, the decision was not just a straightforward one. The decision still lies with the referee despite what the VAR says. To bridge the gap, he needs to interpret, and that's where things get a bit messy. And I ain't talking about Lionel. VAR probably isn't the issue. It just shows us the difficulty of applying the rules. Then there are the handball offences. The truth is, there couldn't be a clear answer when it comes to this. What counts as a deliberate handball? How accurately can you define the boundaries of the arm? To what extent does an arm make the body look bigger? The answer depends on who you ask. And if Mike Dean is the one in the VAR room? You know he has the record for the most red cards given to a player. We were interpreting before VAR, and we're still interpreted today. Technology helps in situations where there was a clear right or wrong, but that's not the main problem. In the 2019-20 season, IFAB changed the handball rule to make things easier to understand. They wanted to shorten the gap between seeing something and making a decision. In the next season, FIFA, the organisation in charge, told the Premier League to do the same, making the rules stricter. This caused even more handball penalties and upset a lot of people, fans, players and managers alike. And here's the problem. The rules are changing to make VAR work better. If interpretation becomes more complicated as we see on TV every weekend, there's a risk of making the rules very strict, going against the original idea that certain parts of the game should be subjective. The debate about VAR in the Premier League and major leagues around the world is all about finding the right balance between using technology and keeping the unpredictability that makes football exciting. VAR has undeniably brought changes to football, and not all of them have been embraced with open arms. One prominent issue is how it slows down the game. Unlike sports like tennis, rugby and cricket, football is known for its continuous flow without natural stoppages. In those other sports, decisions can be checked during pauses in play without disrupting the match too much. However, in football, a free-flowing game can be interrupted by VAR, leading to delays that weren't part of the game's natural rhythm. In truth, The amusement of football lies in its uninterrupted flow, when the game goes from end to end for minutes. However, with the introduction of VAR, the thrill of continuous action has been disrupted. Waiting for officials to review countless replays, sometimes for as long as 5 minutes, has become a frustrating experience for fans. While VAR was initially introduced to prevent major injustices and was promised to be used sparingly for clear and obvious decisions, the reality is proven to be quite different. Too much time is spent on VAR reviews, impacting the natural ebb and flow that makes football entertaining. Another part of contention is how VAR has altered the offside law. The offside rule, originally designed to prevent blatant goal hanging, has taken an unexpected turn. Instead of addressing clear-cut cases, VAR goes into little details, like measuring whether a striker's hair was beyond the last defender. Imagine, now someone like Haaland has to leave his hair tied. Now someone like Haaland has to tie his hair all the time. This has turned offside decisions into a lengthy and sometimes frustrating process. Fans, instead of enjoying the moment of the well-worked goal, find themselves waiting as officials draw lines on the screens hundreds of miles away. The accuracy of these lines is also questionable, as it's impossible to freeze a frame at the exact moment the ball is played, leading to potential inaccuracies. A glaring example of this offside controversy occurred in a Premier League game when Manchester United thought Garnacho's goal won the game against Arsenal. To the naked eye, he appeared to be onside. However, VAR intervened. The lines were out and the goal was ruled out. Garnacho was just a tiny bit ahead of Gabriel. The situation seemed absurd, and instances like these have become increasingly common in the past 2 seasons. Consistency in decision-making is another issue with VAR application. People were hopeful that VAR would be a game-changer, solving all the issues of football. The reality, though, is that it seems to have brought more problems than solutions. Managers rightly call for consistency in decision-making, and VAR was expected to deliver that. Instead, it has shifted decision-making to the video referee. VAR isn't flawless, and when it makes mistakes, it feels even more unjust than when human referees do. Adding to the frustration, VAR's introduction and its precise interpretations have led to stricter enforcement of the rules. Slow-motion replays and multiple camera angles mean even minor rule infractions are scrutinised endlessly. The punishment often doesn't match the perceived wrongdoing. Is it truly fair to award a penalty for a defender touching an opponent's shirt for just half a second? Granted, VAR has slightly improved decision-making accuracy. Achieving the consistent outcome that managers desire has been near impossible. It's just not on the cards. Meanwhile, the game is losing some of its special qualities. The occasional imperfections that made football unique are being overshadowed by VAR. As we aim for perfection, there's a risk of sacrificing the magic that has made football a beloved sport in the first place. Is VAR doing more good than harm? Let me know in the comments. I want to know all your opinions. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel for more content.